Hello everybody, welcome. So great to see you today. Isn't this a beautiful, glorious day? And I was thinking of making a video for all of you, but wow, I just recently had a crazy incident right now. You can see the battle wounds on me as something totally unexpected and crazy happened. I have battle wounds on my feet and my knees and my hands. Well, first of all, I'd like to share with you what my son would say. Do not deter from love. Pity those who have wronged you instead of festering hate. What does that mean? So much of the times we just can fester so much hate within us, especially when we have been wronged in some way. We can take great offense, right? Well, here I am to share with you all of God's love. And I hope in this video you may tap deep within with God's Spirit to manifest His love and guided by His Spirit each and every day, no matter what you encounter in your life. Well, here I am at this beautiful park in the midday. It is quiet and there's way yonder, there's children playing, and I was inside my car. And what recently happened was that I would plan to make a video for all of you. So I was just in my car, just having a little Zen moment and reading through my notes. Suddenly, my car door opened, the passenger seat, and in comes a man, and he opened the car door and he grabs and he takes my purse. There he is at the moment. And it happened so fast. He steals my purse. He reached over and he went into the car next to him and he closed the door, and I just panicked. I didn't know what to do. So my little knee-jerk reaction, I got out of the car trying to catch him before he drives off. And here I am barefooted. That's why I got some scratched up toe mark on banged up my foot and my hands. I ran out barefooted to this parked car, because that car was quiet the whole time. There was no activity. And I was sitting in my car for at least about 20 minutes or so. So it just randomly happened where it happened so fast. He opened my car door, reached over, stole my purse, went into the car parked next to me, closed it, and he started to take off. So here I am, I got out of my car, I ran out, and I said, hey! And I was trying to stop him as he was pulling out of the parking lot. So I grabbed open and I opened up the door, the handle of the door. And here I am holding on to dear life the handle of his door. It was open, and it was this man, middle-aged man. And I said, stop! And I was not thinking, I'm thinking, what am I gonna do? This lady, I have no weapons on me to stop him. And there was an onlooker, Sophana, she saw the whole thing, and she came over later to comfort me, bless her heart. And she said, I heard you say, hey, so I turned around. I was walking my dog, and then I saw the whole thing, the black sedan, and I'm thinking, what is that man doing that to that poor little lady as she sees me holding on to the handle with the car door open as he's backing out. Then he turned around and he closed the door. So I opened up the handle of his door once again, and there was another person sitting in the passenger seat. And I'm like, stop! But he somehow managed to close the door again, and he took off. And I just fell on the ground, and that's how I got all these little battle wounds and everywhere. Oh my goodness gracious. I was beside myself in the middle of the day. Wow, how would you respond? I'm crazy. Sometimes my little knee-jerk reaction on my little warrior mode kicks in without me thinking. And well, I mean, now I have to go through the hassle. He stole my credit cards in my wallet, all the cash and all the personal belongings in my purse, going through all the hassle of canceling off the credit cards and checks and everything else. But again, I shared this story with my son, and he said, you know, let us not deter from God's love, but pity those who just are wounded, who are just broken people. You know, who knows why he must steal my bag and how many other cars he might have done this to. And here I am, an innocent victim, just having my Zen moment in my car. And strangely, I usually have my car locked, the doors, but it was open, I guess. And he saw that, and it just happened fast. He reached in and grabbed my purse and just tried to take off. But we cannot deter from God's love. And let us just choose to respond, to do the right thing. It was so unfair, unjust. Some of us, we can create so much hatred within our hearts. And what does that do? It can, bottom line, just poison us when we fester all of this unforgiveness and resentments and hurts, and we can feel like the victim in many different scenarios in your life. I'm sure all of us in one way or another have been hurt or wounded by a person, a loved one, a neighbor, a dear friend. It can be anybody. But how are we going to choose to respond? To be bitter or to become better, stronger, a wiser person? And I just hope and pray that we as believers, as children of God, can abide in Him always. For the fruits cannot bear fruit through the branches. We must abide in the vine, it says in John 15. Abide in me and I in you. We need to stay plugged into who God is and in His love each and every day. We are not immune to scenarios like this where people can invade us and steal from us. We're not immune to any kind of sins in our life. We think, oh, this can never happen to me. You just never know at whatever state and stage you are in your life, or what kind of mindset that you may have. We may just be unsettled in some way. We may need the clarity and the peace and God's love today to help us to take the step and move forward in and through God's Spirit and in His love. So my family thought I was crazy. I said, I'm going to stay here at the park and make a video for all of you to encourage you. Let us not forget about God's love. The amazing power of love is tremendous, over and beyond. And it is a mystery. The mystery of God's love, it is the unknown. And some of us, we want security, we want comfort. And I like what Thomas Jefferson says, that, you know, some of us, he says to have the dangerous freedom and have it overcome the peaceful slavery in our lives. Some of us wants to go by the rules and the laws and the peaceful slavery in our lives. Maybe we choose to live like that. But I know I personally choose to live in the dangerous freedom, which I perceive it as God's love. God's love is all about the mysteries and the dangers in life, but bottom line, it gives us freedom. Freedom in Christ indeed. And I hope and pray that all of you may have God's love and His freedom within you, because innately it is within us as babes, as we have been growing up as babies into this world. It may have been taken away from us, the love, the light. I pray that the light in your eyes have not been dimmed by so much of the distractions and chaos in this world, and so much of the problems that we may have, the personal problems. It can be simple as back pains, health problems, finances, so many things, relationships. It can be so many endless problems. But all of us, some of us, may be in that victim mentality and in that mode. But I just pray that you may not choose to stay there, but to get up and to move forward and remember and know who and whose you are in Christ. Remember. So God's love is mystery. That is the dangerous freedom. So many of us fear the unknown of the future. But I am here to remind you to trust in the known God. He knows from the beginning to the end of our lives and what's going to happen. He knows. Let us just trust in the process of our life, and let us choose to live a life worthy of His name and in His Spirit. And I'd like to share with you this quote by Josh Shipp. And he says, you either get bitter or you get better. It's that simple. You either take what has been dealt to you and allow it to make you a better person, or you allow it to tear you down. The choice does not belong to fate. It belongs to you. We all have choices in life. And if you feel that you cannot do it, rely on God's strength. In our weaknesses, God's power is made perfect and strong. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Let us believe in his promises today. So I love that movie, Professor and the Madman. And the lady Eliza, the madman, you know, Professor, he was making the dictionary back then. Mel Gibson and Sean Penn was in that movie, the actors. And Sean Penn was a madman, and he accidentally killed this lady's husband, and they went to court, and she had all this unforgiveness in her heart towards the man who murdered her husband. But through time, he wanted to give money to her and all her children. She wouldn't accept. But over time in that movie, she was illiterate. She could not read or write. She would go and visit. She wanted to see his eyes and see the man who was offering this money to her. Her family was in desperate need of food and clothing. But over time, when the visits, they became friends, and he was so smart with words that he chose to teach her how to read and write. Eventually, they began to have feelings, develop feelings, and fall in love. And after some time in the movie, he rejected her because he remembered what he did, and he just couldn't forgive himself for what he did. And she wanted to see him, but he rejected her. So she wrote a little note, and she slipped it into the guard to hand it over to Sean Penn, the madman. He opened up the note, and what did this illiterate woman, who he taught how to write, what did it say on the note that she wrote to him, the madman? And it said, if love ... then what? And it leaves it up to you. Love is so powerful. God's love can move mountains in us. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And with that incident that happened, that man, sadly, it's so crazy. I'm still trying to process what just happened to me. He opened the door, stole my handbag, my wallet, all my personal belongings are in there, all the values. But here I am. I choose not to be bitter, but to become better. And to make this YouTube video to encourage you as my personal example. Choose God's love. Who knows why people do what? And I'd like to leave you with this quote. And it says by Tony Sorensen. And he says, strength comes from struggle. When you learn to see your struggles as opportunities to become stronger, better, and wiser, then your thinking shifts from I can't do this to I must do this. So again, love. Let us plug in and abide in Jesus and in God's love and in his spirit today. So therefore we can naturally bear out the fruits from the branches as we connect to the vine. And in Galatians, it says all the source of the fruit of the Spirit is just love and kindness and patience, forbearance, gentleness, self-control. All of the goodness will naturally, the blessings will flow in your life. And it all starts with you to make that choice. I know it's so difficult when someone has wronged us, but let us choose love. Let us not deter from God's love, but just feel sorry for the people, for they don't know any better. We all stumble and fall in some way, but let us choose God's love in our life, and you will see the mysteries unfold and the blessings galore will come your way. That is a guarantee. And peace is so priceless indeed. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. Please take good care. Goodbye.